I was living in the city, and due to the circumstances of my husband's job, I moved to our old house. We had been living in it for a long time, almost 10 years, but we left it and went to live in the city because the house was far from my husband's work. The house is located in an estate near the city. Every day my husband and I would drop the kids off at school, and once I was too tired to get out of the house with the kids and my husband, so I told him to drop the kids off at school and bring breakfast, but the kids got dressed and went out with their parents, and I decided to continue sleeping. But I didn't know it. Unfortunately, the rain fell out of my eyes. I grabbed the iPhone and started playing Candy Crush. My back was to the door, and I was covered with a quilt. And here, I heard the sound of two men in the salon walking quickly. I said to myself, it is reasonable for Josie to come back and drop the children to school and bring breakfast, although the distance is more than an hour to go up the mountain, come down and return. But I was surprised and said, it is reasonable. It's true that the time passed quickly. But where is the smell of the mangusha with thyme that I told him to bring with him? I do not smell any smell, and the mangusha smells when it is hot, and there is no smell of any food. The sound of men and feet was getting closer to me. I said, I will make myself sleep and see what my husband will do then. Will he eat the mangusha alone, or will he let me break my fast? I stood in front of the bedroom door, saying, why didn't he wake me up and go around the apartment? And that's when I felt someone sitting next to me on the bed, and I felt hands pressing on my shoulders, and the duvet was pulling away from me and covering my face, and I felt as if my body was electrified. I don't know. A strange sensation and chills in my legs as if someone was electrocuting them with a wire. I tried to read the Quran, but I couldn't remember anything. Everything flew out of my brain in a second, and evaporated. I was terrified. I was terrified. And the sensation was monstrous, I said with difficulty. I seek refuge in God from the devil. I looked left and right in terror, but there was no one in the room at all. I thought to myself that my husband was joking with me. I called him a lot, but no one answered me. I went around the whole house, in the children's room, in the living room, in the parlor, in the lounge, even the bathroom. But there was no one in the house. I opened the door of the house like a madwoman, but I did not find the car. What does that mean? What was in the house and the voices of the two men that were not my husband's man? I was hysterical and frightened. I read surahs from the Holy Quran that they memorized and remained standing outside the house, unable to enter and terrified until my husband returned from home. When I told him what happened, he laughed at me and said that I must have been asleep and had a bad dream. I was terrified. I told him that I wanted to go down to my parents in the city. I went down and told my mom and dad what happened, and Baba said that he could be a passerby, and that he wouldn't hurt me. Don't be afraid, my daughter. He just met him. He was prepared at home. Play the Quran, and don't focus on him. Since then, I have been playing the Quran, and indeed, many times I feel many strange things. But I don't feel like Baba, thank God my faith is strong, but many times I feel that someone is in the house with me. I don't know whether it is because the house was empty for 10 years, because I was living in it, and then I lived in it for 10 years and then returned and lived in it again. It could be a jinn or a passerby who visits the house and walks away. And another thing happened with me at home. I was standing at night in the house. Me and Josie and my children were playing in the garden, and the children's uncle was walking through the house. And here my oldest son said to me, Mommy, I'm going to answer my Uncle Begley, come from far away. I said, Go on, my love, go on. I found my son going to a place I called him quickly and said, Come here, my love. Don't go and don't hesitate. But my son didn't listen, and he kept walking towards the darkness, and here I found my son's uncle sitting in front of me. I was terrified. I called out loudly to my son and told him not to respond. I ran to him and pulled him quickly. I found my son saying in wonder, Mom, Uncle is calling me and consulting me with his hands. Let me go. I looked and found the scarecrow in the farm. I said with fear and tension, No, Mom, that's not your uncle. It's the scarecrow in the farm that flies by air. From that day on, I never let my children go out at night, but many times I feel that many of my things disappear by themselves and I can't find them, although I am organized and nothing gets lost, but many things in the house I find lost and misplaced.